So on Friday, I gave you a little prelude to what I might come up with for a cooking lesson for today, when I showed you that I had pan grilled a little bit of pork strips and placed them on lettuce leaves with a little bit of kimchi, rolled it up, and yummed it down, and then another 19. And this is a very common habit in Korea, but it's also found throughout most of Southeast Asia. I checked with some friends in China, and I said, do they do it in China this way? And they said, only in Dai cooking. Well, Dai is a generic word for the peoples of the northern parts of Thailand and Myanmar and Cambodia. So it seems that it's restricted to Southeast Asia, but it's common in Korea. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I've got better greens this time. The lettuce was too small to really work well, but now I've got some really nice greens, and I'm going to show you how to do it with other meats. So here we go with the grilling process. I'm going to turn on high heat. I want to get the pan nice and smoking, and I'm going to add some meats. At the outset, I've got some chicken, some pork, and some beef. Chicken and pork I've cut up. The beef I've kept in one piece because I want to just sear it and then have it a little bit rare on the inside. So let's see how the pan's doing. Well, it's getting there. As soon as it gives me a little bit of smoke, I will whack in the meats. Okay, it's just starting to smoke. I don't know whether you can see it or not, but it's on its way, and I'm going to put the meats in. Chicken, and pork, and beef. Pan is dry. I'm not using any oil because I'm trying to replicate grilling without actually having a grill, but and you can see browning very quickly because the pan is super hot. I'm going to take the beef out almost immediately and then leave the chicken and pork just to cook all the way through. Yeah, the beef is done. You can see there's a little bit of redness in the meat, the pork and the chicken I want to get them good and grilled. And the next is going to be belly pork, very common barbecue meat in Korea and China and all of Southeast Asia. Very hard to find in the United States, but fatty belly pork is very common here because it's eaten fresh. In the United States and the United Kingdom, it's turned into bacon, but here it's mostly eaten fresh. So those meats are now fully done. You can see they're nicely seared on all sides, cooked to the center, and I'm going to take them out and I'm going to put in the belly pork. So here's the belly pork starting, and won't take long. And then I'll start constructing my various wraps. The main trick is going to be to place a leaf on my cutting board, add some meat, possibly some flavoring, depends what I feel like, some rice, then wrap everything up and yum it down. There's the pork doing nicely. I'm going to add something I don't normally add, just because I feel like it. A mushroom. Well, let's see how that does. It's going to mostly grill, but there's a little bit of pork fat in there as well. So there we go, everything's pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to let the belly pork cook a tiny bit more. And I'm going to take the rind off it. Here in Asia they normally eat the rind on, but I don't care for it, so I'm going to take it off. And then I'm going to wrap up various things and have my lunch. So now that the meats are all grilled, all you have to do is decide what else you want to put in with them in the wrap. And normally you would do something like meat plus sauce or kimchi and some rice, wrap it up, and on you go. So we've got here some beef, and I've added some abalone sauce, and in this case that was all I really wanted, and so I just wrapped that up. And here we have some pork with kimchi, and I've added a little bit of rice and wrap it up, and away we go. And then here I've got a mixture of pork and chicken, and I've added some really hot chili sauce, and I'm going to add a little rice to that also. And now here is an interesting experiment. I had a little bit of grilled salmon, and I'd made a Cambodian sauce for it, containing ginger, galangal, anise, various Cambodian spices, some rice, wrap it up, and off you go. So for the chameleon cook, you can do any number of things, any kind of meat, any kind of sauce or flavoring, rice, not rice, wrap and go. And it's a good party dish too. You lay out the greens on a plate and then scatter around the table the various toppings and just let your guests do what they want. So there's the comedian cook again. If you like this, then subscribe, and I'll see you on Friday with some more philosophical rambles concerning logic, reason, God, and whatever else comes to my mind.